Hi guys, welcome back. Scatlink here, and we're off for more of Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. And in the last episode, we defeated Blind in the Thieves' Town, Thieves' hideout underneath the village of outcasts, where we've gaining the Titan Mitts. We were able to rescue a blacksmith from the Dark World, return him home in order to temper our Master Sword to a power level of 3. We also took a chest and brought it to a master lockpicker, where we were able to get another bottle, and we got bombos because we were in the area. And in this episode, we're back in the village of outcasts. Made my way back with a quick flight of the flute, because, well, we've still got some stuff to do in this very sector. We've got the base of Dark Death Mountain. I don't know what the name is at the moment. And we've also got Dungeon 3, literally right here, which is right next to Dungeon 4, but since it's where shops are, you would go there first. But before we do, we want to head south around here. Because if we go down here, we can actually go do something. And hello there, GBA exclusive enemy, likes. Let's just clear out the riffraff here quickly with our nice hurricane spin, since we're able to do so. There we go. Does quite a lot of damage. You can even take down Hinoxes pretty easily. So yeah, who needs to use bombs like we did in the last episode? Hello there, good sir. Quit bothering me and watch where you're going when you dash around. Why does everybody want to murder me, even when they can't move? But yeah, likes. If you get caught by them, they can steal your shield. The blue or the red one, doesn't matter which, they can steal it. And it's kind of funny that they're only here in the GBA version, like, only here. This is the only location that they appear, because, oh, well, shit, that's not good. Thankfully, if you kill them, just like the pickets, those little pumpkin things that lash out with their tongue, if you kill them quick enough, you can get your shield back, as you just saw right there. I didn't mean to demonstrate that, but it just kind of happened. Also, because there's so many trees here, we could actually experiment and see what happens when we use Quake. It seems to be the only useful use of it so far. I don't know if we're going to see any of the likes turn into anything, but I guess we'll try. That did nothing. 5, trees and nothing popped out. Unbelievable. Although it did stun like, so at least that's good enough to know. And of course, stunned enemies will give you a rupee. And that is cheap, and I do not approve of that, good sir. So, give me that back, thank you very much. Because in both the GBA and Super Nintendo versions, this is a place that you can go to, but you know, likes are only exclusively here in the GBA version. But this house, its contents changes depending on the version. Such a dangerous world, you need many things. Select something that you like. So yeah, this is a shield store. As you can see, he sells a normal basic shield for 50 rupees if you lost it, or if you have the rupees, you can actually upgrade with the shield that we have now, the reinforced shield. Now, here's the thing. In the Super Nintendo version, this is basically a modified general store where you can buy arrows, a bee, or the reinforced shield, because, yeah, but here there's no bee, and you can buy a normal shield back. The idea is that this shop even was completely replaced to be the shield shop. Like, it's known as that because you can buy the reinforced shield. If you didn't know, you could chuck it in the Vault Wishing, but it's actually intended for you to buy it here in both versions. However, there is a gap in the GBA version. We'll get to that later, but just keep in mind that that's a space here, because, I mean, well, we need to deal with these guys again. But yeah, I'll get into that once we're actually able to talk about that without spoiling anything. But just so you know, that pickets can randomly steal items as well as your shield, but likes can always steal your shield, unlike other Zelda games, because, you know, they actually appeared in, I think, Ocarina... No. Yeah. They appeared in Link's Awakening first, so unlike in Ocarina of Time where, you know, some shields were immune, like the Mirror Shield, because there's only one, in this game, no shields are immune, so, yeah. This way to the cave. Doesn't specify what cave it is, but we'll go check it out anyway. There's an arrow pointing down here. I don't know what that means, because it doesn't actually point to anywhere specific. Get rid of this rock, nothing under there. Anything in these trees? We could use Quake again, but I don't want to be using all of my... Where did that come? Did that just come from a bush that Hinox bombed? That's a bit cheeky. He got the random drop. Imagine if his bomb spawned a fairy. This seems to be the Dark World equivalent of the Sanctuary, location and design. Hey, I'll tell you a profitable story if you pay me 20 rupees. What, is this a cult place? Sure, what dirt can you give me? Haha, thank you. To tell you the truth, I saw incredible beauty inside the pyramid. But someone went and sealed the door. The nerve! Not even a bomb will blow it open now. At least, not a standard one. He's talking about that... Well, actually, fully healed me. I forgot about that. But yeah, he's actually talking about that massive crack that we saw. A normal bomb won't destroy that crack. But a special bomb might, but we don't have access to that yet. You know that we had the bomb shop? Literally where it replaced Link's house in the Dark World? Well, if we have both Crystal 5 and Crystal 6, specifically them two, there'll be some new stock in the bomb store. And that's what we're working towards. That's another reason why I like to do those two dungeons as early as possible. But not really that big of an issue right now. I want to go check out the graveyard of the Dark World. I don't actually know how this works, considering that this is a transformed sacred realm. I guess this is where departed holy spirits have laid, and now they've been defiled by the transformation of the very land they're buried in. Maybe I'm looking too deep into this. Before we do that, though, we'll come over here. There is no grotto down in this area. Obviously, that would lead to a great fairy fountain for a full heal. If we were in the light world, yeah, as you can see, they put that little ledge there so you could see these two rocks in the GBA version because of the very slight screen crunch, but it's not that big of an issue. Very minor detail change that was actually made to the overworld other than the likes. And both of these changes are in the Dark World, no less. One to accommodate for the very slight screen crunch, which you could probably get away with. But the other one is just a new enemy, so more challenge. Haven't seen a normal person in a few hundred years, let me talk to you for a while. Surprisingly, the Triforce created this world to fulfill Ganon's wish. What is Ganon's wish, you ask? It's to rule the entire cosmos. Don't you think that might be possible with the power of the Triforce behind you? Well, that's kind of the reason why the Second Realm has become like a dark version of Hyrule, because of one, the evil influence, and two, it's like merging, and that's why it looks like a twin version, visually. Because, like, I mean, you can tell, it's quite similar. Yeah, there's no cave here, so literally there was nothing else here other than getting back to where we pretty much started our entire trek into the Dark World. And we can easily hop in the water and do that, but there's no much point in doing so. Give me that, thank you very much. Now, we want to actually use our mirror here. Now, we'll be able to get into this area if we had the Titan's Mirror anyway, and by the way, there are now Poes here, so kind of crazy that, let's get rid of them. You may have also realised that we're near that cave on that ledge that we couldn't do anything with. Well, we now have access to this gravestone, but unlike the others, we can't push it. Just dash into it, and you'll smack it open. Dash on downstairs, dash on through, little chest on an altar, and we get the magic cape, one of the most useful and most optional items in the game, funnily enough. This is completely optional. You're invisible when you wear it, but what's your magic meter? When it means invisible, it actually means intangible. Yes, you are visually gone, and we will be seeing its effects later on. But you're also invincible. So you're invisible and invincible. You cannot be hit by enemies when it's in use. So now we have effectively able to dodge damage just by wearing it. As well as other obstacles. My god, what's with this money drops? I don't even need them. But yes, we can actually use the mirror on this ledge because there is a stairway in the Dark World, so we can get in here as well. Want to pop in here very quick because, in fact, you know what? It'll be a lot easier if I just use the hammer because you can do this in the GBA version. A lot faster than picking them up. And, for God's sake, stop pressing the start button. Again, they're right next to each other and I'm used to pressing start to bring up a menu. I think the only other time that this is a thing in Zelda games is the Wind Waker's Tingle Tuner. You have to press select to bring up the inventory. There we are, found a piece of heart. That's what's behind here, and yeah, there's a piece of life at the graveyard. Kind of interesting, that. And no, there is no way on dropping from above, and I keep putting this in a bad place because I have to keep waiting to go back into the thing. Kind of annoying, but that's not a problem. We want to go back into the Dark World one more time, because this time we want to head to the left, and then we want to go... Well, we gotta go left again. We want to be heading to where the Lumberjacks would be in the Light World. So, let's head up. And how did I bonk off of that bush without destroying it? I know that if you're in between, like perfectly, in between bushes, let's see if I can do it. You can bounce. Like that! And it wasn't because of that rock there, I'm being dead serious. It makes a little ba-doing noise when you do it, so you know I did it correctly. If you hit two bushes at once, you actually collide into them, but somehow I collided into that bush, and it made a normal wall smack sound, a normal bonk noise. I don't even know what I just did to do that. Nothing in that. Nothing is held within these trees. Oh my god. Get out of my face. Thank you. I can always kill these two things in a single spin attack. It's quite nice. Kill these moblins. There we are. I'm getting a lot of health here to make up for what I'm doing. I'll give a piece of heart to the person who wears the cape. Well, funny that. We just got that. Again, doesn't really make much sense that, you know, the mirror version of Hyrule would require something from Hyrule itself. It may make a bit of sense, but remember, this is a transformed land. So who put the piece of heart here? Ganon? Is he testing me? Is the cape belonging to one of Ganon's ancestors? Or maybe it's Aghanim's cape and he buried it. Who knows? Maybe that's the case. That would make a lot of sense. But yeah, looks like we can't really do anything here right now. Remember, though, that we can walk on seams. So yeah, I can just do that. Now, you can see that there's some pots here. That's how you're intended to do it, using these pots to get across the ledge. But you can just easily walk that seam. It's not against the wall, so you can do it, as you saw I did. However, there is no way I'm getting past this bumper unless we make ourselves not only invisible, but intangible. I did press A. For whatever reason, when you equip the magic cape, there's a bit of a delay before you can use it. I don't know why that is a thing. I guess it's to stop abuse, but it's also like you put it on the cape, I guess. It's like waiting for like an equip time. But hey, by wearing it, we got another heart container, and therefore we are now at 14 heart containers. We're pretty healthy right now. Let's go north and check out the rest of this area before we head into the forest. Because that entire forest, oh boy, is a doozy. Ouch! Well, I got healed, so thank God for that. And it's 3 hearts, not 4 hearts. I thought it was 4 hearts for the snapdragons, but get out of my face. Oh, I don't know if he was getting hit by the beam there or not. I thought he would have died in 2 slashes of the, Would you please? I'm always bumping into soldiers underneath bushes in the same locations that I'm doing in the light world. What's going on here? This is just another convenience store, so we don't really need to worry about that. But because I walked in there, all the enemies are respawned now, but there's not really anything of interest around here, so we're just going to go into the forest. So the thing about this forest, the Skull Woods, it's not only the name of the dungeon, but it's also the name of, well, the forest itself. You can tell because there's a bunch of skulls in here that we can't do anything with. Bloody bee, get out of my face! Thank you. We can't pick these up, even with the Titan's Mitt. Although we can pick up these little skull rocks, I guess. Taking the side entrance literally just gives you a straight cut through all the way down. And not really much else that we can do about it. This is a dead end. And it looks like we're just going straight to the leftmost entrance from the village. That's exactly what we are doing. This is not the right area to go. This is a waste of time. Now, if you think that you could go all the way up here to actually get to the dungeon, because it would make sense visually, remember, you're getting an overhead view, so you don't actually see that this is not the way to go. We're going to have to make our way through another way. So, let's head back down this way, back into the village, because I could use a bit of health here, actually. I'm running a bit low. Snapdragon's doing a ton of damage. If only I could have a bit of armor to cushion the damage. I wasn't even talking to you. I was about to dash. I didn't walk into you or anything. That's a bit cheeky. Oh, wait. For bashing into this one. Nope, that's not it. I thought it dropped a fairy. That's fine. We got some fairies. Right, take you out. So now we are in... Really? But yeah, now we are in Skull Woods proper, because this is the area that we need to be in. The middle or right entrance is the entrance that you need, because they both connect. And yeah, the reason why, getting back to what I was saying about, the reason why it's called Skull Woods, both in and out, is because that you have an outside of the dungeon and an inside of the dungeon. Aha! This is the hole that everybody falls down into. We've got Gibdos! They're pretty tanky when it comes to taking damage, and they also deal a lot of damage just by walking in you, but they just relentlessly walk towards you. That's it. But, hey, they are wearing, okay, I thought that would have actually worked. You would think fire would be the case. But hey, if I actually use bombos here, and remember, screen nukes are helpful when damage is ridiculous. The game does provide you with ways to win. So we can just burn these guys, because they're quite vulnerable. That one-shot them. And yes, as you saw, there was... Oh, I just got full magic. That was nice. It didn't even... it didn't click immediately. But yeah, you've got Floor Masters as well. Floor Masters, Wall Masters, they're just hands that grab you. And if they grab you, they're going to take you out of the level. Basically back to your spawn point, actually. So it would pretty much reload this entire room. There's a key that we want. Now here's the thing, when they drop from above, you can actually hit them while they're coming down from above, but if they grab you, even if you're just a smidge in their hand, that's enough to kick you out of the dungeon, so be careful. Hello there, hard hat. You can bugger off, buddy. Trigger the traps. We can grab this. Dungeon map, that's helpful. Nothing in these curtains. I could have checked the map in order to see that. You can see that there is like a very segregated section of the dungeon to the left. And for the most part, this whole segment of the dungeon that we're in seems to connect in some manner. Except for one room that doesn't seem to connect all the way to the leftmost bottom room. And there's only one room in the basement, second floor. And yes, we are in the basement, because if we were above ground, we would be outside the dungeon. That's annoying. Hibooshk! Yeah, we don't need to kill them, because we can't do anything. So what we're going to have to do in order to progress through this dungeon is to weave in and out of the dungeon rooms in order to get around. Now, I would fall down this grotto, because that's still there, but we don't want to do that right now. There's just a picket in that corner. I don't want to deal with him. Again, in the SNES version, they're the only enemies that can take your shield. So, in fact, when it comes to pickets, one shield does actually have an immunity to their stealing shenanigans. So, I want to keep that in mind. Yeah, you know what, I'm just going to kill these guys again with another nuke. I don't want to fight them normally. Too much effort. I don't actually use the screen nukes that often. I keep saying screen nukes, I mean, they technically are. I mean, definitely bombos, because it sets everybody ablaze. But I don't tend to use them that often. Mostly in an upcoming dungeon, but they are really helpful. And I thought, well, you know what, I might as well give them a little bit more use. This room's a little bit of a pain, though. What we need to do is push this here, and then without getting grabbed, and you're going to have to listen for the little, or look for the shadow. There we are. Just getting with the tip. Oh my god, I'm trying to grab the bloody thing. Grab it! Okay, this is annoying. There we go. I must have left that in a very awkward position. There we are. That's how you get into this room. And you do need to get into this room. Oh, okay. I didn't mean to do the hurricane spin there, but 2 spin attacks kills him anyway, so that's perfectly fine. I didn't actually use any magic there because of the half magic cost. And that... Oh, I forgot they block pots. That's annoying. I was about to say, if I had the magic power at the ready and I remembered that was there in particular, I could have got myself a fairy and I'll be back to max health. Ugh. Ah, there we are. Give me that. That's what I wanted! The big key! As the master key of the dungeon, it can move main locks the small keys cannot. Kill you. 1 slash with a level 3 sword is all you need. That's why I like to have this here. Instead of doing it after level 4, I like to do it before. Let's get out a bomb. Pop that there. I mean, I should have stabbed the wall first. I could have even checked the map, but there is a room there, so it's fine. And you can just come in here for full magic refill, which is kind of awkward to get to because, I mean, you gotta do this shenanigans, but what do I know at this point? There's no point continuing on in this part of the dungeon, I don't think. Yeah, because as you can see, this room doesn't lead down to the room below. This is actually an entrance. So, yeah, there's actually 3 parts of this dungeon. Even though they're all pretty short. So, we'll head back around to the part of the dungeon we were already in. Get out of my face. And we're going to head into this hole, actually. I keep forgetting it's not up there, it's here. But if we drop right here, we will be above where we got the dungeon map. As you can see, it's technically labelled as 2 separate rooms, but you saw the trap panels. Yeah, it goes down that way. So, I did press B. What the hell? My button didn't go off. And I replaced my... I'm using my rechargeable batteries. They're fully charged, so my GBA isn't messing up here. Again, I'm using a GBA as my controller on the Game Boy player. It just feels more natural since I don't have the hoary Game Boy player pad, because they're bloody expensive and rare. And a GameCube controller just doesn't sit well with me with this at the moment. Might as well cut these while we're waiting. I like how you can actually do this with the sparks. If you just remove whatever they're connected to. Can't really check out over there unless we can walk the seam, but it's a little bit awkward when it's on the left and right because hitboxes. Well, so we'll just pull this. We don't need to check out those pots, although I do have a method on actually doing so, so should have done that actually. And it's a method I've actually already shown. But yeah, we just blew a massive hole across the room in order to... through the temple in order to get to this chest, which is the fire rod. This fire rod commands red fire, but what's your magic meter? So yes, we now have both elemental rods, ice and fire. So now we can set things ablaze from a distance, which is super effective against Gibdos, as we already know. But we can also light torches from a far off distance as well. As long as you, don't want to worry about magic issues. Yeah, pretty awesome. As you can see, pots are not respawning, so I can't really show off what I wanted there. Basically, if I did a bonk... And you know what? Screw it. I'm right here, right now. If I use the magic mirror, same with getting picked up by a floor master, it would pretty much just take you back to where you entered the dungeon. But as you saw there, that's why I had to, activate the trap switches. There we are. Or swap them, so I can actually get in here. There are other methods on doing it, but this is what I was talking about. If I just, screw off! You made a beeline for me, straight on. If I just do this, move back a bit, and then... Boop! There we are. That's what was in those pots. At least I've shown it off. I did say that there was a method on getting over there if you do not have the method that's intended. Because remember, we've skipped Dungeon 2 at this point. And when we did Skull Woods, we skipped Dungeon 3. We can't get in there right now, but remember, there are more holes to go through, and there's 3 rooms behind there, so why don't we go find a way in there first? Can you bugger off? Thank you. Yep, didn't go down this hole originally. There we are. So if we check that now, we are here. You can actually see where we're falling in, because the hole entrances are marked with little white rectangles. So, and again, we don't have the compass. The compass only points out the dungeon boss. That is it. And it's kind of obvious where the boss would be, at the end of the dungeon. So it's not like that there is a room in the middle of the dungeon, surrounded by other rooms to make it confusing. They're at the end of the dungeon, so it's like, what's the point? The dungeon compass is useless. Just reiterating the most useless item. I mean, it was more useful in Zelda 1, and Zelda 2 didn't even have it. This is technically Zelda 3, because it was the third made. So, very confusing, that. I don't know why I chucked a pot at that guy. My sword would actually be able to kill him in a couple of hits. What was that Tokyo Drift there? Freaking deja vu. Deja vu! Well, that was booby-trapped. Yep, speaking of the devil, it's caused bad things for us for grabbing it. Yep, and we've got one room above us. So we don't want to go back into that room down there on the right, because if we do, we'll be back to where we started the dungeon, funnily enough, with the Gibdos and the things. But there's also Gibdos in here, and you know what? I'm not dealing with this. Could use the fire rod, but this is actually more cost-effective with magic, considering there's 3 of them. Actually, it probably would take the same amount of magic now I think about it, but yeah, whatever, it takes care of the Stalfos as well. If you actually hit a Gibdo with the fire rod, they become a Stalfos, because you're burning the bandages that's covering the corpse. So, it actually does make them easier to defeat, because they don't carry the same stats. They effectively change into a different monster. So, a Gibdo is basically just a mummified Stalfos, basically. Ouch. Get out of my face. The guy's being really stingy. He's not dropping any money for us whatsoever. But yeah, so there's not really anywhere that we can go right now, except for deeper to where we need to go. I'm actually low on health, so let's pop that quick. So I'm not having another quote-unquote knockout. Would you come back here? Getting away from me? That's just rude. I'm trying to save you and your kind. So the least you could do is help me out. There we are. Extra health is nice. Dodge you, because we don't need to be in here. Let's move onwards. Can't get up there. Is there anything up there? Nope, it's just another falling entrance, so it's kind of pointless unless there's a chest up there. We'll probably check it out anyway. So, to get into that room, though, he pushed himself into the spikes! He killed himself! I don't remember seeing that. I don't remember that being a thing. Oh, there's a key there. That's helpful. Ow. Don't do that. Yeah, but there's no way I'm getting into that room, it seems. Don't worry, though. We know how this dungeon works at this point. And guess what? You see that, big thing at the top left there? That weird monstrosity? I don't even know what it's supposed to be still, after all these years. That's the actual dungeon proper. Yeah, the final segment of the dungeon is the dungeon we're supposed to be going in. It's kind of funny considering that the Desert Palace had the normal entrance as the entrance marked and not the cave entrance, which is where it was actually located. Kind of funny that. But yep, if we make our way all the way around here, there's just a hole sitting here. If we hop in, we'll be, yep, where all these traps are. So now we're going to be able to activate the trap switches in order to access that room with the key that we have that we couldn't do before. And that'll be this part of the dungeon clear. Feels like I've been going a bit of motor mouth in this episode, but it's just all been flowing so smoothly for the most part. I haven't had many hiccups other than using a fairy, but that's fine. That's what they're there for. And I'm always anticipating taking a lot of damage because you never know what's going to happen. So we've activated them. We won't do it again. We'll just walk around, knock you away. I salvaged that. You see that shit? Frickin' teetered on the edge there. Frickin' Wile E. Coyote'd. Frickin' Looney Tune. And I will take that health as well, good sir. Let's get in here and let's see what we got. Helmisters. And it was a trap! Yeah, a stock room that required a key and a bit of a loop around, only to waste your time. Well, joke's on you, game. I know how to do this. I know the tricks of the trade. Hippoosh! A 2-in-1 again! I never do that. I never do that. And that's happened twice this project. In Agam's Tower, no less. There's nothing I can actually do here. That sucks. I know, I'm wasting health. This isn't the intended way I'm doing it, but if you did get trapped in the middle of this room, there would be no way out for you, really, if you pick... Yeah, there would actually be no way out in this room. Almost. I mean, you got those 2 blocks there, but it's still a bit risky, considering that, you know, you've got a very thin ledge to squeeze around. So... But yeah, that's pretty much that entire part of the dungeon. So how do we get into this thing? This doesn't really look more like a skull. It looks like a weird beetle thing with a centipede crawling out of its mouth. And it's not really clear on what you're supposed to do, other than, you know, if you've learned anything from some of the dungeons. The dungeon's item is helpful in your location, because it's useful against Gyptos. Hippoosh! Burn the centipede, he's like, ah, what have you done to me? And then we can just walk in. And yeah, level 3 Skull Woods. We're now in the final segment of this dungeon. Funny that, innit? That dungeon went pretty quick, actually, despite being quite an annoying one, because you have to keep weaving in and out, dropping in, trying to find your way back out to one of the 3 entrances. This dungeon's got 4 entrances overall. Yeah, kind of like the Desert Palace, as I mentioned before. There's quite a few parallels going on. This is the 3rd dungeon here, and that was the 2nd, but you could consider it the 3rd. That's pretty much all I have for this episode, so yeah, in the next episode, we're going to be tackling the rest of this dungeon, and then heading off for other locations. We might even pop back into the village. See you guys then.